What was supposed to be the routine transfer of power from one presidential administration to another, which happens every 4 or 8 years, has rapidly devolved more and more with every passing day, and every indication coming out of I almost said Bush, there's some similarities. Trump camp these days is that it is a band of squabbling children taking every opportunity to backstab each other wherever possible. And we have more indications of that today, including some information coming from Eliot Cohen, who was in the State Department under George W. Bush, who last week had some advice for those who are considering taking a position in the bureaucracy under Donald Trump. Now, at that point, Eliot Cohen said this: "It seems to me that if they are sure that they would say yes to this position, a job, out of a sense of duty rather than mere careerism, if they are realistic in understanding that in this enterprise they will be the horse, not the jockey, if they accept that they will enter an administration likely to be torn by infighting and bureaucratic skullduggery, they should say yes." I love anyone who fits in the word skullduggery. Yes, with 2 conditions, however: that they keep a signed but undated letter of resignation in their desk office, as I did when I was in government, and that they not recant a word of what they have said thus far, for those who have had obvious concerns about Trump and what he would represent, but might want to serve their country. That was last week. And now Eliot Cohen has spoken with members of Trump's team and tweeted out this: "After exchange with Trump transition team, changed my recommendation. Stay away. Their angry, arrogant, screaming, 'You lost,' will be ugly." And went on to say, "They think of these jobs as lollipops. I think we're on the verge of a crisis here." This is a man who just last week was telling people, yes, it's going to be rough, but you can serve your country, after actually speaking with those people says, stay as far away as you possibly can.
It's not like this guy's a lib. He was in George Bush's administration filled with neocons who started war after war. And he's saying, no, these guys are irresponsible.
Yeah.
To the point where you shouldn't go anywhere near the building. I was amused by the quote of they're handing out jobs like they're lollipops.
Yeah.
But, there he's being slightly naive. Look, every administration hands out jobs based on, to some degree, and that's the important part, on political favors. You were good to me, I'm going to give you the jobs. Trump is not considering a lot of people who unendorsed him.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Now, are these guys a different level, as Eliot Cohen points out? Yes.
Yeah.
So they're angry at the people who did not sufficiently show loyalty.
Yeah, I mean, we know Trump has that sort of personality flaw, but also he's surrounding himself with people who are basically, all we know about them is that they believe crazy things about the world. They're not rational public servants. They're crazy bloggers, basically.
But just to finish that thought, and Democrats do it too in terms of giving away like ambassadorships to really rich donors.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot. But at some point, you also have to consider the actual job.
Yeah.
Do you have any, especially on you're ambassador to Luxembourg. Have fun, right? But you're doing a national security job. Well, I would really hope that you have some degree of experience.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to turn around and go, I mean, who could have figured they were going to fly planes into buildings? I mean, somebody wrote me a memo about how I should be, concerned about they're going to attack New York and Washington, and they're going to attack inside the country. But, and
got brush to clear.
And by the way, the reference I'm making to the incompetent Bush administration, those guys are now saying, watch out for Trump's incompetence.
Yeah, except for some of the worst people from that administration who might be Secretary of State now. Yes, and so we also have Mike Rogers, who we talked about in the program yesterday. Now, this is a guy who was honored to have worked with the transition team and has been booted out onto the front lawn of the White House. He had this to say about the transition team.
It was easy for me to hand it off to Mike Pence in his capable hands coming in. So I think that was kind of a combination. I think there is some confusion going on about a chain of command coming out of New York. Hopefully they'll get that settled pretty soon. I think they're going to need to do it because as this clock ticks, all of these decisions become more important, and you have to make them sooner with a little more authority and a little more forward thinking to make sure that they don't bump into anything in the future. I think they're going to get there, and I'm an optimist about that.
When you talk about confusion coming out of New York, what do you mean? I mean, is it difference of kind of vision?
I think, your chief of staff has to be the one, or whatever title you want to give them, needs to be the one making decisions. They need to be held accountable for those decisions, but you need someone that can clearly make a decision. If you make those decisions by a committee, I don't care how small it is, it just adds to the difficulty. And I think they're going to get through this. Again, remember, this is all kind of new. There's a lot of folks that don't have any experience in what this might look like, and that's no fault of theirs. Matter of fact, in many ways, it's a plus coming into Washington, D.C. But that's what the problem is. There's a little bit of a vacuum in clear chains of command. That will get fixed. I think this is just growing pains. I think people are saying it's in turmoil and collapsing. I don't believe any of that. I do believe that they just have to fix this chain of command, who's making the decisions, and make the decisions on behalf of the president-elect, and nothing more than that.
That sounds like a great way to criticize the hell out of a group. But they're going to fix it. I mean, obviously they're going to fix it. I got no problems with them, but they don't know what the hell they're doing, which is a plus. It's a plus that they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. So this pretty much absolutely confirms the two things that we told you yesterday. One is, as we explained, there's 4 factions within the Trump now soon-to-be administration. And those guys are constantly fighting and jockeying for position and who's going to have more power.
Yeah.
So there's not a clear leader there. Trump just says, okay, Steve Bannon, you have totally different priorities than Reince Priebus and my donors and my family. Good luck.
Yeah.
Go figure it out.
I'll be in New York for the weekend.
Yeah. And remember, Trump's a delegator. You know what that means? He doesn't want to do the work. So look, in any organization, once you grow, you must delegate. There's no way around it. Saying you're a delegator, hence, doesn't mean anything. If you manage a large organization, by definition, you're a delegator. You can't do every job. Of course, right. So the people who say they're delegators just generally mean, I'm lazy. I really, really don't want to do anything.
You have to do that. If you choose to identify as that, that means that you are flawed inherently.
Yeah. So if you're the head of the organization, yes, you delegate to your, executive team, management team, presidential team, whatever it might be. But then you have clear lines and you go, okay, Bob reports into me and Bob then has Tim and Sally report into him and that's how it works. And then you guys tell me and then I come and make the decisions.
Yeah.
That's how a normal organization works. Trump's like, I got to go eat a taco bowl. I'll see you guys later. You guys sort it out. And then you have the mess that you have here. So that's point 1. Point 2, Mike Rogers very clearly said in another part of the interview, sometimes in politics there are people who are in and people who are out. And the people who have been asked to move on have some relationship with Christie. He just flat out said it.
Yeah.
Now that's what I told you yesterday. Anybody related to Christie, hey, come and take a seat at the barbershop. Okay, and they're gone, right? The whole 2-hour podcast of the Young Turks,
you're going to get it
if you become a member, tytnetwork.com/join.